achieve in the research area, wherever we are, teaching to the students is always an enjoying moment for a faculty. So I'm going to take that enjoyment now. I hope you also will get that enjoyment.
You are that.
Ma'am, you can continue, ma'am.
The students is always a
Ma'am, you can continue. Ma'am, Gokila, ma'am, are you on the line? Ma'am?
Ma'am, Gokila, ma'am?
Sir, ma'am is not in the meet, it seems.
I just want to check it out.
Yeah, but I have admitted ma'am to join. Yeah, ma'am have joined, sir.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am?
Ma'am, Gokila,
Gokila,
ma'am?
ma'am?
yes, sir. I have been out of meeting for a few minutes.
Yeah,
but
yeah, ma'am.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Now I'm back. Yes. Let us start with the question. Always it will be good to start with a question. The basic question. How many of you in this forum know Python already? You have some experience or some basics of Python. Sir, do they have an option to have a React at least?
Pardon, ma'am? Hello, ma'am?
Do the participant can give a response in the chat?
Yeah, of course, ma'am. They can do it. They can do it, ma'am.
Yes. How many of you know Python already?
You can even unmute and chat. They can also unmute and chat, ma'am.
Yeah, you can have your response in a reaction itself. That is okay.
Yeah,
You can raise
actually,
your hand.
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
My name is Sai Surya. Actually, I am studying BCA. In first semester, I have completed Python fully.
Okay.
And now in online, I am studying advanced Python course, ma'am.
Yeah, that is good. So this is to this question I have raised to where to start. Though it is going to focus on data analytics, I don't want to start from a basic syntax. So just to know how many of you know Python syntax already, even those who doesn't know. So accordingly, I can give my session for that only. How many of you know the Python the basic syntax already? You can raise the hands. Hand reaction you can give, or if you are comfortable in giving a chat response, you can give.
Sorry, sir. What about that?
I'm expecting at least 50% of response from this. I got only 11. Okay, fine. Almost maximum of you are knowing Python basics. Those who doesn't know also it is okay, as your computer science background or even a non-computer science also can understand what I'm going to say now. So if you know at least other programming language, it is easy to catch the new language also. Okay, let us start with the one. Let me share my screen. Please confirm whether my screen is visible. Sir, can you give me an access to share the screen? Okay, in the meantime, let us have one more. Say if I want to do the small addition, what are the things we need in a program? If I want to do some additional equation or some expression, if I want to solve, what we need to have in a program or in that statement? If I want to add two values in order to solve that arithmetic basic, what do we need to have? Operator, right? Operator is going to work on those values. So if I want to keep on change that value, whenever I'm going to work on that program, I don't want to work on with a fixed set of value. I want to give a different input. So where do I need to save those values? The type of data we have to have, and how can I handle the values if I want to work on with a different value for every time of addition if I'm going to use the same code? Yes, exactly. Variable. Tarun Kumar, you have given a correct answer. Yes, variable is required. So this is the case when we are going to solve the simple problem, or even if it is a lengthy equation or a complicated equation or any functional solving, like I want to do the tax calculation of an entire institution or an organization or a company. So that is okay. But when it is coming to the picture of the data analysis, we may need to have the large volume of data. Whatever the functionality we want to have, we'll be having that functionality for a set of value. How to handle those set of value in the program? Any idea? If you are going to talk in terms of variable, the variable can have a one value. That is right. But in a case of the data analysis, data science, or in a big data volume, we have to have more number of values to be handled for a same sequence. For the information relevant to one, if suppose I'm having the age of 100 students, so how can I maintain that value in a program? What will be the option in a programming language in order to maintain more than one value or a set of value in a single identifier? Array is exactly right. So the some expanded version of an array, we can say the next level of data structure, we can say that the list, set, tuple, dictionary, and next to that the data frame. So we are here, we are going to start with those things. Okay, we are not going to start with the basic syntax of the Python and all that. So because the Python, now we are going to relate it to the data analysis, when there will be having a large volume of data. That volume in a single sequence, we may be having more than one value, that is on a same relation or in the same index, we will be having a more than one value. So those set of value, if you want to maintain, then we have to go for the next level of data structure. That is the one the Python is supporting, that the list, set, tuple, dictionary, and next level that I don't want to have the single series of values. I want to have a bulk of entire file in my program. So in such case, we have to go with a data frame. So we are going to touch on all these things, how to declare all this and how to maintain a value. And later on, how to make use of the data frame in order to connect with the entire file of content. Still, I'm not able to share my file. Sir, if you give access to share my screen, it will be convenient for me to move further.
Yeah. Go, sir.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Or, ma'am, can you send me the file, ma'am? I'll share it, ma'am.
No, apart from that, I have to have an execution on a Python also.
But I've given the permission to you, ma'am. I've made you as a host, so you can share the file, ma'am.
No, sir, still I'm not having an access. I'm having the disabled message only. The host disabled the participant screen sharing. That is a message I'm getting.
But you can share, ma'am. Just a minute. But you can share. Ma'am, you can share, ma'am. You can share.
No, sir, still I'm getting the same message.
Because I didn't block you. You can share, the speaker can share the PPT, ma'am.
I don't know whether I'm in a speaker status or in a participant status.
No, ma'am, I've made you as a host, ma'am, so you can share the screen. You're
No,
the
sir, I'm
speaker
getting
state,
the
ma'am.
no, sir, I'm getting the same message. Host disabled the participants screen sharing.
Also,
Just a minute, just a minute. No, ma'am, I didn't give anything like that, ma'am.
No, sir, that is a default setting you have given to all the participants.
No, ma'am, they can unmute and speak. That's it. I've made
Now,
them to
now,
mute. Yes.
no, now I'm
It's
now.
clear now, ma'am.
No, sir. Only actually you pinged me in the screen. You have shared your screen. You have pinged me in the screen, but still I am not able to share my screen.
I've just made the speakers. I've just
I'm
made
not
the speakers to unmute.
status.
Yes,
I'm in
that's
a
it.
normal participant only. I'm not in level of speaker status.
Just a minute, ma'am. I'll check it out. Sir, இப்போ இங்க
so
excuse me, ma'am, can you try now, ma'am? Gokila, ma'am?
No, sir. Still I'm getting the same.
Because I didn't give anything like that. I didn't block you, ma'am.
No,
I've
no,
made
sir.
you post.
You have.
Just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. Still you're getting the same message, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute.
So you have to make them as a co-host.
I've made her a host. She is the host now. Ma'am is the host. Ma'am, you can do it now, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I'm getting. My screen visible? No.
Hello.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So we are going to cover on this. We are going to start with how to handle more than one value. So these and all more than an array, we can say. This is in a next level of data structure which is being supported in Python. So this is the reason what it is all this about the advanced level of data structures, and for in order to do manipulate or in order to access those data within this data structure, it is having inbuilt functions, and it is easy to handle and easy to maintain a sequence of value. And moreover, as I said, this is next level to an array. All these will support for a heterogeneous value. In a case of an array in other programming language, it is said to be a homogeneous. Here in Python also, you can create an array with the help of another package, but the direct set of the data structures which are all being supported in order to maintain a more than one value of heterogeneous type is possible with the help of this data structures, that is a list, tuple, set, and dictionary. On all about to that, the data frame, which can handle even a bulk amount of file itself. First, we start with the list. So it is also a collection of value. It can have multiple values and the variables in that. See, the simple thing here, it is going to use the simple operator called the square bracket. When you have the set of value within a square bracket, then it is going to become a list. And moreover, as I said, this is supporting for the heterogeneous value. See, when you look into the second option, yes, when you look into this second list, it is taking the string value as well as the numerical value. I want to add one more information here for those who are new to Python. Whenever you are having a character value, always, even if it is a single character, the Python is going to treat as a string. And moreover, the string can be delimited either with a double quotes or a single quotes. But the matching should be there with an open and closing quotes. An additional information for those who are new to Python. So this is the way you can create the Python just with the help of this square bracket symbol. On above to that, always when there is technically when you want to talk, this is going to be an inbuilt class. So when you are going to have the class, when you are going to create an object for this, all the variables of these kind of data structures are being called as an object. So when it is an object, obviously there is an inbuilt class for that. So just by calling those class constructor, we can create a object of list type. This is applicable to all the other data structures too. That is for which we'll be using a function called, if I want to create the same set of the list data structure, we can call the function list itself. The list function, we can pass set of values as a parameter to this function. This is a way. So the list is an inbuilt class for which we are calling the respective constructor method to create the list. You can pass the value by separated comma. And see, why we want to have this much of different data structures, the list, set, dictionary, and tuple and all that. Definitely there will be some difference in all that. So if you once understand the properties of all these data structures, then you will come to know which data structure do we need to use on which particular type of or a set of value. So for which we have to understand the properties of the list. So then first and foremost is it is going to be an item of an ordered kind. So in whatever the order you are adding the value, in the same order this will be maintained. And then the next important one is that is a changeable or mutable, because this is a one major difference you have to remember when you are having in another data structures also. So the mutable in the sense, see, when we are having a value, for example, I'm having a variable A, or let it be that it is going to be some string variable like that. So I'm having a value for that. I'm having a value for that. So that value which is being covered within a double quotes like this. When I'm going to apply any of the string manipulation function, let us have that in a Word document. Is my Word document visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm having
Yes,
one
ma'am.
string variable, I'm having it as a value, name, or something like this. I can apply any string manipulation function. Don't compare all these statements with any of the programming language. Let I have is like this. So I want to change, assume that this one function which is available. I want to insert the special one character on the index position M. That means that I want to insert one character in front of N. So in this case, if it is said to be a mutable, I'm through this object, I'm trying to access the function which is going to modify the value in this object. So when you are saying it is going to be mutable, as a result of that, see, when I'm going to change anything without assigning back to the same variable, the variable will not have the changes. But if the property of the object is a mutable one, even after applying the function, even without an assignment, it is going to change the values in place within this itself, within a itself. So as a result of that, A is going to have M, NA, M. This will be the value even without an assignment operator. That is why it is said to be a mutable. We are not assigning the result of this operation back to any of the variable. Through the same object, we are accessing this. As a result of it, it is changing the value itself. So it is said to be a, because when it is a list, as it is a mutable, this change will replicated in the original value. So that is a property. That is the second one. It is a mutable. And the value nature, as the list is going to have the set of information. See, it is going to have the set of information like this. It will allow the duplication. We can repeat the same value in a different position. This duplication is applicable in a list. That is the third property says. And it is a heterogeneous type. And this can be accessed through index. The index varies from 0 to n minus 1, that is size minus 1. So if I'm having the variable, if it is a single value, okay, if this is a list I'm going to maintain. So if I want to access the single value, the L of 0, so that means it is going to return as a value 9. So through the index position, we can access. So these are all the minimum properties of the list. And when you are accessing the list, it is always as you guys already know arrays concept already. We know that through the single index we'll be accessing it. And the one more additional advancement in this list is it is going to allow the negative indexing. From right to left we can access. So that means the negative indexing in the sense the minus of the size, which is going to point the last value in a list. That is the advancement of the negative indexing. When you give the minus, so in this case, in the case of the L, L of -4, it is going to return a value 9. So in the case of the minus indexing, it is going to vary from minus size to -1. Okay. So through that also we can access. And in order to slice the value, if I want to take the sequence of values from the specified index to the one level, then we can have the range of index, the starting range to the ending range. The starting range to ending range, if you are giving, you will be getting a value 1 minus the ending range. So here the example is that 2 to 5 I am giving. I will be getting the values from the index position 2, 3 and 4, not the value in the fifth index position. The way how you are accessing the value, the same way you can assign the values also to the particular location or particular index position. You can do the changes with the help of one value, or if you want to change this particular range of value to this. So index position 1 and 2 will be changed with the value 5 and 6. But see here, I'm giving the target positions as 1 and 2, but I'm assigning only one value. What will happen in this case? You can guess it. Yeah, someone asked what is meant by heterogeneous. See, the type of value. If I'm having all as the numbers, then it is homogeneous. One value is a number, another value is a character, another value is a string. Even in another value, one you can have a decimal number. So all these values will be treated as a different data types in a programming language. If you have a whole number, that is denoted as an integer. If you have a decimal number, that is denoted as a float, double or long way. Or if it is a single character, that is a character data type itself. If it is of a sequence of character, that is a string data type. So your programming language will handle the values in a different type. Here in a list, as a single variable or a single object can have the different type of value. We all know that the single variable going to have a set of value. Each value can be of a different type. If all the values are a same type, then it is a homogeneous. If there are different type, that is a heterogeneous. In this case, here we are having a target position 1 and 2, but we are assigning only one value. That means both 1 and 2 will be replaced with 5. Okay. So this is allowed. There is no error at all. And we can apply some of the operators directly over here. There is an operator called in and not in. This is to have a searching of a value. See, those who are already writing the programming language, how will you search for a value in an array? If I want to search, if I want to identify whether the required value is available in it, how will you search it? You may have to navigate through the for loop. Yeah, so one. Yeah, even the if statement, first we have to navigate on a for loop. So if I want to search for any value, that I have to access the values one by one. Then I have to ensure whether that value is there or not. That is the way. Yes, the for loop, while loop, some loop. So in order to iterate on all. But when you are having a data structure like the list, tuple, set, dictionary and all, we can apply this operator. Operator name itself in. If word apple is there in this list or not, it is going to return this. See, those who are new to the Python also can understand that this is a syntax of if statement. If is a keyword followed by the value what you want to search and apply the operator and give the list on which you want to search the value. So this is the way you can search for a value with a single statement. You don't need to write a for loop. If it exists, it is going to return a boolean. The in you can apply through the if, or you can assign that boolean result to the other variable also, you can check it. Okay? So the in operator. If it is not in, if the value is not available in this particular list, then at time the not in is going to return a true value. So the in and not in are to return a true or a false value. That is to return a boolean value. If the value exists, the in is going to return true. For a not exists, the not in will return a true. Okay? That is it. This is applicable to all the data structures. See, we are not going to touch on this in and not in for all the upcoming data structures. This is applicable to all the data structures, the tuple, set, dictionary, and all that. Okay, just have a glance on this because we can make use of this even at the end after taking the data frame inside. See, these are all the functions which are all supported by this data structure list. We have seen this list constructor. This is to create a list. And if I want to know the number of values in that list, we can do this. And here it is an insert. What is the difference between insert and append? Difference between the insert and append? Okay, yes, append is at last, that is right, but insert it can be in any location. See here, when you look into that insert function given here, the insert index comma value. On a given index position, it is going to insert a value. The append is always last. The insert you can do it anywhere on an index position given. Yes, Arun Kumar, what you said is right. And you can remove this. Those who are from the computer science background and those who learn the data structure, I think you can understand the meaning of pop. Always removing the last element. That is the pop. The sort function is to sort the value in a ascending order by default. If you want to change that, then we have to take this as a reverse equal to true. See here, one additional information I want to add it here. Those who doesn't know Python or those who already know Python also can recollect this. When you are calling a function, we'll be passing only values. But here, the value you are assigning, see here, the true value you are assigning to one variable that is called the reverse. This we call as a named parameter. For this parameter, we are assigning this value. Why it is applicable here and why it is being supported here is when you are having one function and the function requires 3 to 4 values. But if require in some scenario, You may need to pass the value for only few variables, not to all. So for whichever the variable you are passing the value, so have that variable name and pass it. So this is called as a named parameter. If anyone wants some additional information, please put it in the chat, then I can give you the syntax exactly, okay? And the reverse, see, the name itself explains it very clearly that the reverse is to give, now to reverse the values. And can anyone say what is the difference between the count and the len? Len function is also there, count is also there. What will be the difference? Sai version, do you need additional information about the named parameter? Yes. Okay. Let me write it. Just let us have a quick one. Okay. If I'm having one function called add, this is my function name, for which I want to pass two values, number 1 and number 2. So these two are the values I want to pass to this function if I want to call. But internally, it is going to add number 1 plus number 2. So in such, you see, don't compare this with the exact syntax. There will be a syntax error in this. So just to understand the outline of the named parameter, I'm writing over here. So when the function is being called, when I'm going to call this function, I will be passing two values. We all know that the value 10 is going to assign to num1 variable. Value 3 is going to be assigned to num2 variable. But in Python, it is supporting that for which variable you are going to assign a value. We can mention that variable name here. You can do that. Because of this, even you can change the order of passing a value also. See, number 2 for 10, I want to pass it to the number 2, then I want to pass a value 30 to the number 1. This way also we can do that. And in addition to that, we can have some default value to this case. Okay, this is said to be a default value parameter. So in such case, even without passing a value also, you can call this function, because if you are not passing a value, the value 30 will be for number 1 and one more 30 will be for number 2. In such case, number 1, let it go with the default value. For a number 2, I want to pass another value. If I'm not passing anything, the default value will be taken. If I want to pass, I don't want to go with the default value. The function has to work on for the value what you are passing. So in such case, we can give the named parameter, name of the parameter, and assign this value. This is a purpose for which variable we are passing. For this case, we can use this named parameter. Yes, Arun, if you are not passing anything, it is going to take a default value. The output is going to be 60 in that case. But if you want to do the addition for a different set of value, what you are passing, then you can pass it. In this case, so I'm passing 50. The one more value, it is going to take 30. Then in such case, the output is going to be 80. So this kind of is applicable in a Python. So we call it as a named parameter. I raised one more question. What is the difference between the count and len? Even if you doesn't know the exact answer, you can guess it.
Count will return the number of occurrences.
Yes, number of occurrences of particular value what you are passing. Correct. The len is the total number of values in the list. Is correct. And if I want to know the position of the particular value, then we can go for an index function. So these are the few functions we can know. In some places, we'll be having a list of value, we can apply that, or after handling a huge volume of data in a one particular column alone, you can pick it. You can take one column of entire data file into the list variable, and you can apply all these functions. Okay. You may feel that all these and all are basic functions, but if you know this basic, even if you are having a large volume of data file on one particular column for or one particular row of value, you can apply these functions. So whatever we saw so far, that is you can have a nesting of a list. One list can be nested with other list also. That is also possible in that. See here, when you take that, the list one I have declared here, when I'm declaring a list two, these the first and second values are direct values. The third value is in another list. Okay, so the first value 45. So in a zeroth index, you will be having a value 45. In the index one, you will be having a word Gokila. And in a third index, you will be having a set of value 1, 2, 3. So if I want to access within that, if I want to access, you can look into the third print statement. From the index position 2, I want to access value in a first position. So the index position 2, it is pointing out to the list. That is a list 1 value, 1, 2, 3. In that, I want to access the index position 1. So it is going to be value 2. So it is going to be like this. So your nested list is going to be like this. 45 and 1, 2, 3. So it is going to be like this. So if I want to access the value 2, first we want to locate this value, that is the value in the second index. So that is why within an index 2. So if I'm going to have only the index of 2, if I'm having a L of 2, it is going to take 1, 2, 3. So within that, if I want to access the value in the index position 1, give that. So we can next the index also. The navigation is also possible if in some cases. See, if I'm going to apply the in operator along with the for, it is going to continuously fetch one value in every iteration. So it is going to take a value 1, 2, 3, like that. It is going to take all the values and it is going to navigate. So the in operator along with the for, it is going to navigate on all the values in a list. Do anyone want any additional information on the list before moving on to the tuple? Okay, fine. What comes in your mind when you heard about tuple? The computer science students, okay, a nesting of for loop one student has. Okay. Yes. Okay. See here. When I'm going to apply the in operator directly on one for loop, for a first iteration, when the value, for a first time, it is going to take the value in the index position 0. So the index position 0, it is an another list. And in the second iteration from the index position 1, and in a third iteration index position 2. So as per the first for loop, if I'm having a single for loop, I'll be having an output that is 1, 2, 3 in one line and 40, 50 in another line and 4, 3, 2, 1 in another line. But I want to handle the next set of value because whatever the value I'm handling in a first iteration of an outer for loop. So in the first iteration of the outer for loop I, it is going to have the values like 1, 2, and 3. So in the first time, in the outer for loop, the I is going to have the 1, 2, 3 in the first iteration. So if I want to access these individual elements 1, 2, 3, once again, the I has to be navigated over here. So the outer for loop is going to access the first element in a list 1. The first element in a list 1 itself is in another list. So if I want to navigate on the first element list, then you can have one more loop within that. Next comes the tuple. This is also another data structure which can have set of heterogeneous values. See, now I'm using the term, just by looking into the screen, you can understand. This is a set of heterogeneous values. You can look, you can see into that here. It is having both the numerical value as well as the string value. Here the operator differs. Here it is a parenthesis. Now, when it is coming into the properties, here it is immutable. Let us go to the same example what we saw for a list. See, in this case, in a list, when you are going to apply L dot insert of in a zeroth position, I'm inserting a value 55, 555 like that. So after that, if I'm going to apply len of L, it is going to return, because see here, after doing an insert operator, I haven't do any assignment back to L. Even after that, the list, if it is of a list, it is going to return a result as 5. But now let us come to the tuple. When I'm having it in a tuple, we are going to have the assignment, the tuple creation. By when you are covering the set of value within a parenthesis, it is always treated as a tuple data structure. Or else we can use the constructor, inbuilt constructor, the tuple. Either of the way we can have it. So the tuple of all these values. So in this case, it is also, if you are applying the insert 0, 555, when you apply the len of tuple, it is going to be 4 only. It will never change. It will never change its own original values. That is said to be immutable. So if you want to change the original content, then you have to have an explicit assignment statement. And moreover, see here for your example, I'm giving here some of the functions or some of the rich functions which are all available in a list or not available in a tuple. So what you can do is you can convert the tuple to the list and you can apply all these operations. We are going to see that also. So this is the difference between the mutable and immutable. So this is a heterogeneous. This also will allow duplication. Why this property is being insisted here is when we are going to see the next data structure set, there you will feel the difference that will not allow the duplication. So here also you can access this with the help of an index, a positive index as well as the negative index. We can slice the value also. So when you are learning all these data structure, if you once understand the mild difference in the properties, you can easily handle all this. So here it is having set of functions. You can do the concatenation, you can do the multiply. Here also you can apply the in operator and the not in operator, and we can find the minimum maximum count index. See, I'm rushing up here because even if you see the examples for all these, we may not able to remember, but keep it in a mind that there is a function for all that. Once if you start using it continuously, you can remember the function name, you can remember the parameters to be passed, you can remember the type of parameters to be passed. Even if you look into the examples now, you can remember this once if you practice it continuously. Okay. So as I said already, if you want to handle this in a mutable way, or if you want to apply any of the list functions to the tuple, you do that interchanger. The tuple can be changed to the list and do whatever the process you want to do on the list function, and you can assign the list back to the tuple one. So in such case, how we'll be doing is, so here we are having a tuple, right? When you want to assign that to the list of tuple, the tuple you can convert that to the list format. So later on, if the list want to be converted to the tuple, make use of the list function, make use of the tuple function to convert that back to the tuple format. So whatever the function you are applying, that function is going to convert the set of value what you are passing here. Okay, in vice versa we can use. So we no need to bother that the tuple is having a very list set, a very minimum set of functions, but I want to apply the reverse functions, sort functions and all that. You convert the tuple to the list format, apply the reverse function, apply the sort function, all that, then you can convert once again back to the tuple. See, why we want to have a restriction on a tuple, that if you want to maintain a set of data which you don't want to change till the end, you want to maintain with the same original contents. That is the reason we are having a tuple. This also can be applied with for loop. You can navigate all the values through the for loop. Here the for and in operator is being combined. Before moving on to the set, do you have any doubt in this, or do you want any extra additional information in this? Let us move on to the set. It is an unordered list. See, in whichever the order. So this is another difference when compared to the list and the tuple. In whatever the order you have inserted a value, in the same order the value will be maintained. But in the case of a set, it will not be like that. You may not expect the same output when you are displaying the set value. And it is mutable. You can, the original value can be changed. So the one more additional property here, it will not allow duplication. So if you are having the duplicate value, even if you assign a duplicate value, it will automatically remove that. And as it is an unordered list, even you can apply the index position to access a value, but you may not expect the whatever the value you're expecting, you will not get that back, because on the same index position, the same value will not be maintained forever. This is it's not going to be in an order in how you have inserted. So it is no meaning of using an indexing, but you can use it, but there is no meaning on it, because it will never return the same value Yes, Abhinaya Selvi, it is right. Storing a unique set of values in a single variable. That is what the set is, correct. This is a delimiter for, or this is the curly braces is the delimiter to mention the set. So all these values are being covered within a curly braces. Or we can have, if I want to have the sequence of value that you want to convert that to the set format, then we can use a set function. This constructor function you can use. So the three symbol, either a square bracket to indicate a list, parenthesis to indicate a tuple, and the curly braces to indicate a set. Either the tuple or the list can be converted to the set. But see here, when you are having a tuple or a list, it may have a duplicate. When you are assigning that to the set variable, obviously it will automatically eliminate the duplicate and will assign the value to the set. So for a set also, we can apply the in, not in, and. The one more advantage of having a set is that we can apply the set operations. Do you remember the set operations, what you could have learned in mathematics, set theory? Yeah, union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference. Yes, it is. See, I tell you one real example where you can use the set operation. I'm having this, you can relate to the real-time scenario. I'm having two different customers purchase information. I want to know whether these two customers are having a similar likings. How can I do that with the help of a set? Do you need to repeat the question? See, there are two customers. I'm having their purchase information. I want to know whether these two customers are having a similar taste. No, let me have that. One customer purchase items I'm having. Suppose the customer one has purchased that, the product one, product two, product three. The customer two purchased that. Okay, let me have. The customer one has purchased product one, product two, product three. Customer two purchased that, product two, product four, product three. How can we find whether these two customers are having a same similar likings or similar taste with the help of a set? See, I don't want to have whether these two customers are having exactly the same. Is it going to be the union? See, if it is of a union, I will be having the information by all together, what are the unique products those who have purchased. If it, I'm going to have an union, I will be having P1, P2, P3, and P4. But I want to know whether these two customers are having a similar taste. Yes, intersection. Whether those who have purchased any common item. Okay, so if I'm having these two sets, the customer purchase information in one set and the customer two information another set, if you apply the intersection, I can find, this is one data science you can do in that. If I'm having hundreds of customers who are all the similar liking, similar taste of items they have, so I can apply the intersection on all the customer purchase data. So who are all having it? So if I'm having that product 1, 2, 3, then I can pick who are all the customer purchase this. So in such a way, we can find it. Okay, it's yeah. When you're applying an intersection, I'm going to have a P2 and P3. If the intersection result is not an empty set, I can come to the conclusion that these two customers are having a similar liking. Okay, this is the way you can apply this set data structure in a real scenario. So there you will be using this set operations. And here also, you can convert the list, the set of items. See here, we are combining the list, set, tuple on a single variable. When you are going to create a list, the list can have a direct value. The list can have another set. Say S1 is a set. And it can have a tuple also. So when you have one data structure, so vice versa is applicable. In all these data structure, one item can be of any other internal data structures. You can nest one data structure into the other. The list can have a tuple, list can have another list can have the set of all these two. The overall here, the L1 is going to be the list, but when you're taking an individual item, when you take a S1, it is going to be a set. When you take a T1, it is going to be the tuple. Arun Kumar, in which you are asking for a fourth point? In which slide?
Coding. Print type 1.
Okay, then, okay. See, if I'm going to have, okay, the type is a function in a Python to get to know the data type of any object, any variable. So in this example, we are having L1. So obviously it is going to be a class list. But within a list, I want to get to know the type of the item which is there in the index position 1. As per this, in the index position 0, it is Gokila. In index position 1, it is S1. S1 is nothing but the another set. So in this case, the output is going to be class set. See, the type in a Python is to get to know the data type of any object. Tilagavati, the string is an output. If I'm going to take, it is a 0th index. Because in the index position 0, I'm having a direct. But in the index position 1, we are having S1, that is another set. Yeah, thank you. Arun, did you get this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now let us move on to the dictionary. So far, how are you accessing the values? If I want to access a single value in a list or a tuple, how are you accessing it? how we were accessing the single value from the list or a set of value from the list. Only with the help of an index. The index portion we were giving. Yeah, in a case of the list, in a case of a tuple and the set, we will be using a index. But in a dictionary, we can maintain a key for any value. So that value can be a single value, or it can be another list, or it can be in another tuple, or it can be in another set. Value can be anything. So the dictionary also going to have set of value. The value can be anything. For all those value, we'll be maintaining a key, the unique key. So that is the purpose of the dictionary. The set of value can have list of value, tuple of value, sequence of values in a form of a list, sequence of value in a form of a tuple, in a form of a set you can have. All that together, if I want to have a huge set of data, for example, I want to maintain 100 students' information. Student 1, their name, address, roll number, all that is going to be 1. So I can maintain one identity for that student, that is the key 1. For a second student, once again, I'm going to maintain a set of heterogeneous values, either in a form of a list or a tuple or a set, whatever the way. Then I want to have an identity for that. That is the next key. So every information within a dictionary data structure can be located with the help of the unique key, the unique identity, that is a key. Okay. So here also the values within that is the key value pair in a dictionary being covered within a curly braces. So within a curly braces, we'll be having a key, colon, value, comma, the next key, colon, the value, like that will be having. But see here, one constraint or a rule we have to maintain, that is that the key can be a number, string, or it can be any data structure. But the key, if it is a string, the uppercase key and the lowercase key differs. Let me show you here. The dictionary also being covered within a curly braces. I am having the key and the value for that, the another key and value for that. I'm having the next key and value for that is a numerical, and I'm having a key, the next key, and value for that is an another list. Like this we are having. If suppose you can have the key as a string also, you can have a string as a key. This is also allowed. In such case, if you have a one more key with the same string, see here, these two VV keys are different. The one which is in a small case, the other one which is in uppercase, these two are maintained as a two different identities. That is what this property says. The case sensitivity. Every value can be accessed with the help of the unique key. And same way, you can assign that also, or you can access that also. In whatever, if you want to locate any value, we have to get to know the key. We can access a set of keys within a function, or we can access a set of values also using a dictionary functions. So here, these are a few examples of the dictionary creation. The key value pair, as I said, for a single key, you can have another list as a value. And you can create with the help of dic function. This is a data structure, that is, this is a constructor function to create a dictionary. So in the last one, we are having that you can have a key as a string. So for accessing the value, we have to give a key. But see here, if the key is a primitive type, any numerical type, then you can give that key directly. If it is a string, then we have to give it in a double quotes. For assigning also, we can do that. If the key already exists, the existing value will be overwritten. If the key does not exist, new key value pair will be created in a dictionary. If you are trying to assign a value for a non-existing key, that key value pair will be created. It will not prompt an error. So here you can apply the in and not in operator to search a key. If you are going to apply if the so-and-so value, for example, let me type it. So in about dictionary, I am applying that if one in D, it is going to search for, so the in which is going to search for one in a D, it is going to search only the key. It is going to look for the keys in this particular data structure, not a value. So in the previous cases and all, we had only the direct values. So the in operator going to look into the values. But here it is a key value pair. The in operator going to look into the keys. So here, let us have a quick glance on the functions. As I told you already, even if you see the line by line example as a detail, you can remember all this when you are going to use it repeatedly. Okay. Let us have a quick glance on some of the important things. As you are accessing with the key by directly with the get, that is with the help of the index access, the key index access, we can do the same with the help of a get function also. Get for the key, get a value for the required given key. See, as I told you, I may not aware that what are the keys available. So in such case, see, there is a function called keys. It is going to give all the keys from the dictionary. Similarly, if I want to take all the values, I don't want to get to know whether the key exists and within that key, I want to search for a value. Let me give all the values in a dictionary. So for that, we can make use of the function called values. So these are the functions you can apply on the dictionary to get it. And the copy is to create a duplication. One copy of the same exact copy of the dictionary if you want to create. See, when you're comparing to the list, tuple and the set, this is going to be the next expanded data structure where you can maintain a huge volume of data that is with a multiple different list size. As I told you already, for example, I want to maintain 100 student information. I no need to have a same length of value for each key. For example, in a dictionary, I'm maintaining a student one. I'm having a set of value for them. And I'm going to have the second set of, this should be in a double quotes. For a second student, I may have the different size of values. So irregular size of values I can maintain. Because of all these, this is the next advanced level where you can have a irregular shape of data. If I'm going to handle the n number of customer, one customer might purchase the 4 value, one customer might purchase the 100 products. So if I want to maintain all that in a single variable, then I can go with the dictionary. So it is to navigate on the key. The same in operator, when you are going to apply, you can navigate this through the for loop. Okay. Let us come to the next question, that if suppose I'm having a big data, huge volume of data, how can I handle that in a dictionary? How can I first see, if I want to apply any of the dictionary function, set function, list function, tuple function, we have to convert that. But first we have to pull all that big volume of data to my program, right? How can we do that? I'm not having a single value. I'm not having 100 value. I'm having a terabyte of information. There comes the concept of, yeah, that is an API function. Once again, the API function is going to give the terabyte of data in the form of a file. So we have to read that file within your program. So in order to do that, once when you are reading that entire file you can copy into the single variable, that is a single object in your program. For that, the data frame supports. But these and all, the not default direct data structures. With the help of the another library, we can create this. The library here that is called as a Pandas. Okay. So through which we can pull the entire file into the single variable in a program. That is the data frame. So the data frame which can save the entire file information in a single variable. So as it is of the entire file, it may have a rows and columns. So the file can be a structured file with an XML file, or it can be an Excel file, or it can be a CSV file. So it is going to be a somewhat structured content. If it is of a semi-structured, then we have some pre-processing to convert that. So if I want to have the entire file data into the single variable, then there is a need of a data frame. So once if you have taken into the data frame, you can do many analysis. All that we are going to have here. See here. If I want to see, assume that here I'm having a only small one. I'll be showing you the entire file also. Like in SQL, if you are having it in SQL format, then you will be querying it. If there is a query language, you can query that directly. You can fetch whatever you want. But here, if you are having a volume of information only in a form of a file formats, like a CSV file or Excel file or XML file. So in those things, for example, let me give you one more example. I want to do the analysis on an image. How can I take that image to the variable in a program? Every image, when you are going to handle internally in a coding, will be having every pixel of information. So I want to take every pixel information. All that you can convert that to the single data frame and you can work on it. The image also has to be converted into the new equivalent information. That information is all about the individual pixel. So every pixel information you can take it, and that you can also every pixel information you can collectively have it in a single variable in a code. So such a kind of activity you can do with the help of the data frame. The data frame you can create with the help of an inbuilt library, Pandas. So this will not be available by default. We have to install that with the pip command. And when you want to make use that, see, the installation is to make the Pandas library available on your environment. But if I want to make use of that in your coding, then we have to import it. Import the Pandas. Okay. So once if you have imported this Pandas, see, just have a glance on this. We'll be doing this in a code within a Python environment. See, so within a Pandas package library, there is a function called data frame. So for this, you can pass one dictionary. See here, the above one is a dictionary, right? We are having a key. The key is having a set of value. If you are going to pass that, that is going to be applicable to the data frame. In the place of the dictionary, we can pass another file. We'll be reading an entire file. We can do that. Let me show you all this in a coding environment. Here I'm using an Anaconda environment along with the help of the Spider integrated editor. If you are those who are already know Python, those who are liking to use, some of you are comfortable with Colab also, that is good. Some of you are comfortable with the Jupyter notebook, that is also okay. That is up to you to go with that. Okay, no issues. I'm using this environment right now. See here, this data frame we can have. See here, the pandas I have already installed. So if I want to make use that, can you confirm whether the spider screen is visible to you? See the OS you no need to, because see if you are having your variable exactly on the same working environment, you no need to go for a file locations and all. But if suppose if you are having in a different environment, first you have to identify the absolute path of the file, then you have to take a OS. But here in my case, I'm going to have my coding as well as I'm going to enable my environment. See here on the top of this particular IDE environment, it is having an option to set my environment variable, environment location. So on the top right, I'm having this option. So here I have enabled the folder where I'm having the file. So whenever I'm reading a file, whenever I'm giving a file name directly, obviously this IDE will look into this particular folder only. Instead of that, if you are trying to access the file from the different location, then we have to import a OS folder through which you can locate the dictionary and the file, directly and the file, then you can make use of those files. So here I'm creating the direct dictionary can be converted into the data frame. This is a one way. You can directly print on this data frame also. Let me show this output. I'm running it line by line only because I'm having another codes also in this. I'm converting that dictionary to the data frame and I'm running the line number 16. So it is going to print the data frame. See here, I'm showing the console output. After the print statement, we are going to get this. See here, the one more advantage of the data frame is, if I want to take all the names, I can handle with the help of the column header. And moreover, by default, all the row will be indexed. So within a data frame, if I'm going to read the index position 0, it is going to give me this entire row. If I'm going to access the data frame with the help of the heading, then it is going to return the values in this particular column. Okay, let me show you this accessibility. See, I can access the data frame, I can access with the help of an index position, or else we can access the data frame with the help of the column header. So once if you give a column header, it is going to give the column value. If I'm going to give an index position, it is going to access the row wise. So in either of the way, we can access this. And let us do some of the manipulations on this. So because before moving on to the file loading, let us have some of the changes in this. Then we do the same changes once after taking a file also. See here, initially you could have created a data frame with a few set of values. If you want to add new set of information, you can do that. See here, this is a code to insert a new column itself. When you apply the insert function on a data frame, it is going to take the index position and the column header and the set of value. If you do so, it is going to add one column here. See, let me execute this. Let me print this value. See here, it is going to insert one more column with these set of values. But you have to make sure that when you are inserting the values in a column wise, the new column, if you are inserting, the number of values what you are going to pass here should exactly match with the number of existing records. If you have already 4 records, if you are having, if you are introducing a new column, then the new column also should come with the 4 values. That is necessary. Okay. And the one more is here, in order to insert a new row, then there we can go for an append function. Append the new dictionary on a same place. It is indexing is true. Ignore the index true means you don't need to have it. You can have it in any position. So always go with the last. So in such a way, we can do the manipulation on an existing data frame. I could have read the 100 records. If I want to add 10 more records in that during my coding process, then you can do that. Either you can add the row wise, or if you want to insert the new column, then you can do it. So this is simple one. All these activity you can do once after taking the entire file also. So let us do how to read a file. See here, within a Pandas library, there is a function called read CSV. Here I am reading the CSV file. Are you all aware of what is CSV file is?
Comma separated value.
Yes, comma separated value. The delimiter for each value is a comma. Either you can open and view notepad, plain notepad, or you can open it in the Excel format and all that. Okay. So here I'm having one file called data.csv. Let me show that file for your understanding. Then during the code, you can easily observe what will be the output, why you are getting that output, all that. Okay. This is a CSV file I'm going to use here. The name of the file here I'm having it is data.csv. It is having 4 columns, and look into that. Its index, the last record, it is going to be this. So here, when you are going to convert this into the data frame, it is going to have a row index. The row index from 0 to 169 it is going to have. So in order to take this entire file into the single variable in your code in the form of a data frame, first we have to take the content. See, whenever you are applying the read function through the Pandas, automatically the file content going to be in a data frame format. When you're converting the dictionary to the data frame, you are applying the pandas.data frame function. But when you are going to read a CSV file or Excel file using a Pandas, automatically it is going to return one data frame. So it is going to be here. Let us do that. Let me print it. See, within a data frame, once as like a list, tuple, set, dictionary, the data frame also having some of the inbuilt function. One such function is a head. Can you guess what is the purpose of the head? After looking into the output, this is going to be the output of, wait. This is an output of the head function. The execution result of the line number 32 is this. Can you guess why are we getting this? Not a head file. Within the file we have taken into the data frame. Through the data frame, I'm calling the head function. The head is going to list out first 5 records in that data frame. If I want to have a last 5 files, then we can apply the tail function. So these are all the inbuilt functions available in that. And if I want to access the particular column alone, for which we can go with data frame name dot columns, and you can pass the index position, the 0th index of the 0th column. So the zeroth column is duration. And if I want to get to know the count, the count property is going to say how many rows and columns are we having it in a data frame. See, let me show you one flow. That is the one we have to follow in all the data analysis. See, this is the one we have to follow in all the data analysis. If I want to analyze the data, if I want to do any machine learning algorithm in my data, first we have to take a data into my code. So that is what we were doing with the help of the read CSV or read Excel. And after that, understanding the data is highly important. What are the type of data available? What are the columns available? What is the data type of the value in that particular column? Is there any missing values in that? Is there any duplication in that? Is there any outline in that? So all that has to be handled. That is the one we call it as a pre-processing activity. So we are taking the entire data to be collected and the pre-processing is highly required. Then we have to understand the data by looking into all this, by creating the summary of the data, just by visualizing the data, just by plotting the graph, we can come to know whether there is any extreme value in that. Okay. Let me show you here. Let me go into the visual part. See here. See, when you look into the first column, you can have a glance on that, all the values. But see here, some of the values are in extreme range. But look into all the other, all are within a or below 100. But see that some of the values are in a huge high range. It may be the error data, or it may be the correct data. If it is an error data, we have to correct it. So here we are having only 100 records. We are looking in such a way. But if it is of the huge lack of records, so in those cases, the understanding the data is highly important. So for that, the data analysis is highly important. Understanding the data is important. For that, we'll be using how many number of columns, how many values are there, how do I get to know the data type of a column, type of that particular column information. See here.
Ma'am,
Yes.
e-commerce course is useful to job, ma'am.
In e-commerce, are you going to learn theoretically?
Yes, ma'am. Side course, ma'am.
The e-commerce, understanding the e-commerce as a theoretical way, it will not help you. In a e-commerce, some tools are there, some case studies you have to take. If you are working out in such a way, those practical activity will support you. Learning the e-commerce theoretically will not help you in that.
Practical, ma'am.
Practical, along with that, some tools, some analysis tools are there. Along with that, if you work, it will be good. What is your basic graduation?
Ma'am, first year, ma'am. BSc Computer Science. Now only studying, ma'am.
Then why you want to go in a commerce side?
E-commerce, ma'am. E-commerce.
Let it be the e-commerce, the electronics commerce is whatever the trading, online purchasing, selling. If you are doing it in online, that is going to be an e-commerce. The supply chain, one buyer is there, one mediator is there. At last, it is going to the customer. If it is everything is going on the online, that is said to be an e-commerce. The trading or selling, purchasing, and the trading and the supply chain management and the demand of goods. If you are managing everything on online, that is e-commerce. What is your contribution as a computer science students to that e-commerce? In such a perspective, you have to think.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, let us continue with this one. See here, if I'm going to access this from this particular data frame, if I want to get to know the data type of it, so we have to apply that. That is, understanding the data is highly important. in order to take your data analysis work or a data science work. So what will be the data type of this calorie column data alone? See here. So it is having the Pandas score series values itself. If I want to assign, if I'm going to fetch this particular value, if you want to assign that to the list, if you want to apply some navigations, then you can do that. You can take only this particular column. You are accessing the column information through the column header, assign that to the list. You can convert that to the list of one variable. So in such a way, if you want to work on with a single column information, you can do that. Or if you want to access single row information, you can do that. So within that, instead of the column header, if you are going to give an index, so that means you are taking a first record, you are converting that into the list format, and you are assigning that to the list. So in the interchangeable way, you can make use of it. Okay. In the case of analysis, see here, there is a possibility of having a mixing value. Let me show you that in a data set. See here, in this particular record, one value is getting missed. If I'm going to apply any data analysis work with this missing value, it will be a very big problem. You may not get an accurate result, because when you are having a data analysis, even a fraction of information, 0.01 is also important. As there are many computer science students, I'll give you one input. The data analysis you will be doing on a different domain. If suppose I'm going to do the analysis on a thermal meter, which is there on a electromotor one, or it is going to be in a heat environment. So the heat variation in a 0.01 or 0.01 degree centigrade is also matter. So if you are missing a single information, that will be a very huge problem. So before analyzing anything, you have to understand the data. One of the analysis activities says that whether there is any not applicable value, that is NaN, missing values are there. So if it is there, how to handle it? Either you can drop it, you can remove all those records, or else the other way is we can fill these values. So these are all the functions available in a data frame. Drop those not applicable value wherever we are having a NA column. Remove that, or else wherever we are having a not applicable value, fill that. So fill NA within a data frame is to fill that. In what way can I fill it? It is meaningless to allocate a random value. So what we can do is, I want to fill the missing value in a calorie column. So I want to take a mean of all the existing values within the same calorie column and do that. Okay, let me show you one data here. Okay, let me take this row number 19 here. So let us have that. After applying this, filling with the mean, what will be the result of this 19th row? See, I'm executing these three lines, 49, 50, and 51. I'm reading the data once again. After reading within the calorie column, if there is a not applicable value, fill that not applicable value with the mean of that same column itself. Now I'm going to print it. So let us have a glance on the row number 19. See here, the row number 19, in a calorie, it has been filled with the mean of all the existing values in the calorie itself. So this is one of the pre-processing activity. First, we are understanding the values, understanding the data, how many volume of data we are having, what the type of data we are having. Within that type, if there is some of the missing values, then how can we handle it? The mean is not a only solution. Either you can go with the mode, mean, median also. Can you say what is mode is? What will be the mode? I think you know the mean is a average, the median is the center value. What is mode? Augustine, you have asked that what the NumPy. Yes, the NumPy is also for a mathematical and numerical. It is going to take a value only in a form of an array. If I want to do any mathematical or a statistical calculation for one column in a data frame, first we have to convert that one column into the array format, then we can do that. The mode is the frequently occurred value. It is not the number of times. The value which has been occurred more number of times, that is said to be a mode. So that can be replaced. So in either of the way, we have to handle a missing value. That is a foremost highly important.
Sorry for the interruption,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We are crossing the time, ma'am. We have to discuss the question after.
Okay.
So
We
it's a
finish this
gentle reminder.
pre-processing alone. Let them go with that.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Okay.
2 minutes, we can go with it. Okay. So the first pre-processing is understanding the data. The second pre-processing is handling the missing information. Either you can drop the missing information or you can fill the missing information. And the next one is handling the duplicate. Are you guys learning a machine learning, at least the MCA students, when you are giving information to the model to understand the data, even if you are giving a same 10 set of records or a same 1000 set of record, the understanding level is going to be the same. So it is a waste of time to overfit a data. So in such case, we can remove the duplications. If any repeated data, we can remove that. So if the duplicator is the function going to return only that whether the duplicate exists or not. If you want to remove those duplication, then we can apply the drop duplicate functions. And in what way the values in the same particular data set or data frame are related to each other. In order to get to know that, we can apply the correlation function. See here, when you are applying a correlation function within a data frame, those who are working in a commerce, those who are doing SSP, all the small statistics, you can get to know that how one value is correlated to other. When one value is increasing, other is also increasing, or one is increasing, other may be decreasing. Positively correlated, negatively correlated. So you can understand the basic relevancy between the values in your data set. That is your data frame. So here is that the duration and the correlation with the pulse. So it is negatively correlated for a 0, 1. This is nowhere related, we can say. If the correlation is -8 or a 9 or a 1, it is okay. That means when one is increasing, other one is decreasing. Or in terms of a positive, +8, plus 0.8, plus 0.9. So that means when one is increasing, other is also increasing. That correlation we can apply here. And some transformation is another pre-processing activity. If I want to modify the data, I'm having a value as a 5, I want to make it as 100. Or I want to take a mean of all these values, then I have to generate a next column. Then we can go for a transform function. Okay. This lambda and all, you have to get into some more. That is a single line of expression which you want to apply to all the values in a data frame. So for which you can do the lambda function, the transform. It is to transform all the values in a data frame. That is to increase all the values by 2%, increase all the values by 10%, or on a conditional basis, when the value is 4, increase by 2%. So likewise, we can do some transformation. We can do the scaling also. This is the next pre-processing activity. Okay, the last one is the visualization. Even if I'm having all these data, if I'm going to plot this on a graph, then I can understand this very easily. So for which there is a matplot library. Here, if I want to plot any one column value in that, then the one such a column value you can take into the array format, because the plot can do the plotting only on array value. So in order to convert the single column information to the array format, then we can use the NumPy. This is one of the usage. The NumPy is having another mathematical calculations also, then we can do that. So if you once have a matplot, you take whatever the value. I'm showing you the simple graph, okay? I'm not giving you the multiple one. I'm giving you only simple graph. There are a lot more in this. See here, just by looking into the graph, I can come to know that maximum values are in the same range, few values are in a high range, or a few in a low range. So likewise, just by plotting a simple graph also, we can understand the data. So these are all the few steps in a pre-processing activity. This is a basic for any data analysis. Okay, so all the data structures say, I know that I'm rushing at the last minute because we wasted 5 to 10 minutes in the beginning, I suppose. Anyway, have this as a basic and initial stepstone to move further in your data analysis. I have covered a very little packages, that is a Pandas, NumPy, MATLAB. Even in a Pandas, only we touched few functions. The NumPy and the Matplot, we have touched only 1 or 2 functions only. But take this as an initial and go further. Okay, this is a very first stepping stone for you to go further in that. Those who are the undergraduate student also, to get this information and explore more to move further in a data science. Okay. Now the session is open to the query session. If you have any doubt.
Ma'am, hi ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in a particular concept in Python, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in multi-threading, ma'am. Multi-threading.
Okay. Do you know what is threading is?
Yes, ma'am.
That is.
Hello?
Yeah, what
Yes,
is
ma'am. Ma'am, multi-threading is considered as moderately, what to say, it's like it involves GAL, all that concepts, ma'am. But in that only, I have doubt what is that multi-threading. It's very confusing for me, ma'am, that concept only.
when you are running your code, when you are submitting your program for operating system, as per the operating system, your program is a single unit.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. But if you are creating a thread within your code, your program itself will be considered as a 3 to 4, how many ever threads you have created. So that much ever different component will be treated. So are you all aware of the operating system concepts? Process
Again,
scheduling.
process scheduling. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So when you're submitting your program, according to the operating system, your program is a single process. But
Yes, ma'am.
when you are going to create a thread within your code, if you are created 2 threads within your code, your program is 1 thread, and apart from that, you are having 2 more threads. So there are 3 threads in yours. So the operating system will treat these 3 as a 3 different components and 3 different processable entities. So all that will be given a equal importance. All that will execute simultaneously. It's not a parallel, it is a simultaneous execution. As much importance as given to your main program, the same importance will be given to the 2 additional components what you have created. This is to have a fast execution.
Okay, ma'am.
And moreover, on the inter-process communication also, when one process is completing, from there, the next process has to continue the work. So for those cases, we'll be going for multi-threading.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. If you want to improve the programming logic, first you have to be so strong on a basic syntax, especially for the loops. Then the string manipulation functions. Once if you're strong on that, then you have to get strong on a data structures. If you once do that, for any scenario, you can complete it. First, you can slowly start with a single loop, the 2 loops, then applying, you have to understand the scenario and which loop to be applied. So once if you keep slowly working on that, you can get to practice and you can get familiar on the logical programming. Yeah.
Okay.
Any programming language, if you want to well versed in the logical problem solving, you have to be strong on the basic syntax, and by understanding the scenario, you have to try to pick the correct programming syntax to do that, whether to use a for loop or a while loop. Do I need to take a single values or a multiple set of value? Those understandings you have to get to know. then you can easily handle that logical problems. How to start learning the machine learning? Yes. In order to do the machine learning, you have, see, all the machine learning, you are having a inbuilt packages in a Python. But as you are a computer science students, you have to get to know how it is working. For every machine learning algorithm, there is a mathematical equation behind that. You understand that equation, then you can understand that machine learning. Then you can improvise the model using any of the machine learning algorithm. So in order to start the machine learning, you start with what it is. You start with the basic machine learning, either with a clustering algorithm or a classification algorithm. You start with a very basic linear regression algorithm or a logistic regression. So initially, you can start applying once if you understand what is theoretically it is, then you can apply the relevant Python code. Then you have to go in depth on that particular concept, what that internal equations are doing. For every, behind every machine learning algorithm, there will be an equation. The first directly apply the Python package. There is no issue at all. Then you get a online content or a good book materials to get to know what is an equation behind that, how that equation is recursively working on all the values in your data set. So the slow starting is start with the basic, what is that particular machine learning algorithm is, apply that on a directly Python package, and once again go back to understand the internal working functions of those algorithms. Interview tips. First and foremost tip I want to give you, that your confident level. Even to say no, don't know, you have to have a courage. That is what the company is expecting. And your learning ability. And whatever the thing you know that I know this, you have to be strong in that. Because as you are a fresher, the company will expect what you know, what you have learned, whether you are having a strong knowledge in your curriculum subjects. They'll be questioning only from that. They will not ask you to write a very big project coding on the interview. If you know, if you are saying that you know Python, if you have to strong on all the concepts in Python and the relevant syntax and the programming statement to implement that concept. If you are saying that I know the thread concepts in Python, you have to know that how to write those statements in that particular Python. If you know the object-oriented concept, if you are strong in object-oriented, and if you are knowing only Python, you have to know how to write those syntax in Python. That is what the company will expect from you. How the QA testing involved in Python? See, so far there is no much automated tool. Even you can Selenium you can be integrated with the Python. That is also there. So you have to exclusively learn that how the Selenium can be integrated in a Python. Such a way we can do. It is still there, because whenever any company is developing any project with one programming language, definitely they'll go for a quality testing and unit testing. In such case, they'll be depending on some of the tools. The one tool which is rightly available and full-fledged in the market is for a Selenium tool, because that is no one want to do the manual testing. So that is the one they'll be using. So that is applicable. See, when you take a Java, for a Java integrated environment, the Selenium and the JUnit and the Java can be integrated. The same way, in any of the IDE environment, the integrated development environment can add the Selenium package and the respective plugins, and you can do the testing for the Python. That configuration will take some time, but you can do that. There is no direct job opening, job opening to have the tester for a Python. There is no direct job title like that, but it will happen. You can do that too. Yes, of course, mastering in one programming language is highly enough. Once if you are mastering in one programming language, within a 10 days, you can switch it to other programming language, because the concept is concept. If he was asking, the one guy was asking about the thread, right? I was talking about object-oriented programming, right? All these concepts are there in all the programming language. That is what you have to understand the concept. Then taking that concept into the programming language varies on the syntax. That's it. So if you're strong, yes.
Ma'am, shall we wind up, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. If the question session is over, we can wind.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Go, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Go. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
wind up the session, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Zaid is there? Zaid?
Yes, sir.
Abdul Rahim, yes, please proceed.
Yeah, okay. So now we came to an end. Thank you all for being here today. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude for our resource person, Ilyas sir, for conducting such an informative session. Thank you, sir. A big thank to all participants from various colleges for active participant. Special thank to our director, sir, Dr. Ahmed Mudassir Ali, for this encouragement, and our assistant director, Usha ma'am, for her support. I also want to thank our professors, staffs, and other faculties. And a very big thank you, ma'am, for conducting such an interesting webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all the participants. I had really very interactive session. You have interacted very much. I'm so happy about that. Very proud of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the excellent session, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participant feedback link have been shared. Kindly fill it. Link has been shared in group as well as. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
எப்படியுமே தைரியப்பட்டு சொல்லிட்டீங்க தப்புன்னு தப்புன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவங்க பெதறாட்டாங்க ஆமா பிள்ளை எவ்வளவு தூரம் போச்சு மேம் எங்க போய்
டென்ஷன் ஆயிடுவேன்
Guys, the session is over. You can leave now.
Fill the form first, then you can leave. If you are going to wind up now, so fill the form fastly. You have just 3 minutes to go. After 3 minutes, we will wind up. Students, shall we wind up? Is there anyone still filling the form? Just 1 minute more, do it fast. Rahim, shall we end the session? Yes, have you all finished the form? Is there anybody still filling it up? Uh, Okay, students, I'm going to end the session now. Thank you.